Hello, everyone. Welcome to Telling Tales. We make atmospheric role-playing live streams for you here on the internet. For a second, I flashed back 5 years to an old channel, but I'm here now, probably, for Telling Tales. Yeah, welcome. We're playing Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition tonight, for specifically the end of our first little arc of Fall of London. We have a whole bunch of links down below if you want to peruse them. We have links to our Twitch and our YouTube. You're watching on one, why not check out the other? We have links to our Discord if you want to hop on there and talk to us about all things telling tales and role-playing. And we have links to our Patreon. There's lovely treats there in the tiers if you want to help support us. I realize I've entirely done this out of order. I'm just terrible. What a terrible intro. I'd also like to introduce our stream manager, Steve, who I'd normally do first, and I'd like to assure him that it's nothing to do with him that I've just introduced everything out of order. It's just because, I'm tired. I'm very tired, Steve. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, doing okay. Good. Surviving.
Steve will be managing things behind the scenes, moving around cams, moving around art, wielding the banhammer in chat, that kind of thing. And if you see him pop up, don't worry, it just means something's gone terribly, terribly wrong. So, with that in mind, let's blurb about the other stuff we have on the channel. We run weekly role-playing live streams, Monday through to Wednesday. Mondays is Call of Cthulhu. Tuesday is Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. That's what you're watching right now. And Wednesdays is Simba Room. We also run monthly one-shots on the first Saturday of every month. We've done Alien and Troika so far. The VODs for those are available over on our YouTube. And brand new is the first VOD for Merkborg, which we did this last Saturday gone. And it was a lot of fun. Horrible, grim, dark, doom, metal, fantasy RPGing. Check that out. So that's all the pre-intro blurb. So without any further ado, let's start introing the players, and they can tell us about what happened last week. So first up is John, and John plays Dr. Henry Banerjee. And yeah, you were at a big old party in London of Queen Anne's. You're looking for some mystical artifacts of one kind or another, and Anne has them. So what happened, John?
Well, we'd been invited in for our allotted cat just left for our allotted appointment with the Queen. She seemed very surprised to see us, and also very familiar with, for example, my clan. And asked us to basically justify the gifts that we've brought, which went down with mixed success, one might say.
Yeah, I mean, if by mixed you mean Catherine did well and everyone else did awfully, then yes.
That's mixed.
Yeah, sure. So, moving on, let's bring on Justin. Justin plays Alice.
I thought my gift was great. I thought it was well received.
Just Queen Anne didn't really care about it, according to the dice. That's all. Rough.
So there we were, and had a nice chat with Anne, and then she, we kind of slip in the thing about the, would you mind returning the clay seal of our Lord and Savior Mithras? You're well acquainted with him, and she was like, all right. Fair enough. I will happily return the seal, or consider doing so. If you consider just killing this vampire that's in just in my bad book. I was going to have him killed anyway, but you guys look like expendable people who I'd like to maybe get killed in a firefight with this vampire. So you'll do.
I mean, specifically, I believe the rationale was because she said that Valerius orchestrated the death of Mithras.
Yeah, Valerius, she certainly believes that, and probably correctly, that Valerius was involved in the death of Mithras, and we are not big fans of that. Being, as you all know, willing servants of the now past Mithras.
Yes, the now past, future, present king. Yeah. So that request was made of you. Let's bring on Pierre, who plays Tommy, to talk about what happened next. Oh, it looks like Pierre has gone again. Pierre is having internet issues tonight, and I thought he was there because his little image was down below. But if I'd looked closer, I would have seen that he was completely frozen. So there we go. That's good stuff.
Fair enough.
So instead, I'll cover that bit. So said request was made of you, and you piled into. You decided to essentially pretend to be part of Valeria's security detail because Anne was happily providing that, which was very convenient. You headed down to the basement of the Shard where the party was. You got yourselves tooled up with a bunch of weapons. You were given a car and sent to the Docklands, where Valerius is currently waiting to be transported. And there, I think we can pick it up with our, third technically, but intended to be final player. Pierre's here. Pierre's back. He's back. How exciting. How exciting. Hello.
You just can't kill him.
I just did it. I just did your recap for you.
Wow. Well, it happened exactly like that.
Didn't even wait.
It was flawless, Pierre. Like, fantastic.
That was the
job.
best recap you've ever given. Yeah.
So
it was certainly
so
the
brief.
best thing I've done tonight, but that's no.
I love it.
That's no stretch. Let's bring on our final player, Neill, who plays Catherine, to find out what happened with Valerius.
Well, we decided to split up so that the others accompanied Valerius and I accompanied the ghouls, Jack and Diane, on their journey to our destination. Catherine made small talk with them and failed utterly, with the compulsion of arrogance rearing its head. Then when we arrived at the destination and I politely demanded that they go and investigate things, I failed that even more and got even further compulsively arrogant. Jack then went out of the car, explored for a bit, nonchalantly was normal, and then threw a flare at Valerius' car and shot him repeatedly. As is normal.
After conveniently sending Tommy off to just investigate the area, clearly immediately had him pegged as the most perhaps combat capable of all of you. So that is exactly where we're picking up. So to set the scene precisely, there's two cars parked up by an industrial park. The front one contains Henry and Alice and Valerius. Valerius is in the back of the car. He's just been shot several times. Jack the ghoul is outside, having just dumped something into the gas line of the car that has caused the engine to seemingly erupt in flames. Perhaps a good time to get out of that car. And Tommy is ahead by quite a way. Has probably heard the gun. Definitely, in fact, heard the gunshots. I say this, although it looks like we've lost Pierre again. So that's just great. Behind is another car about 30 or 40 feet behind, and that has Catherine in the front seat and Diane in the back. And who knows what is happening in there? Well, I'll tell you, because that's where we're going to start off. So I would say you have you have a moment to choose your reaction, Catherine, because you can see what's happened ahead of you. What would your immediate reaction to this be?
My immediate reaction. Did you say I was in the back?
You're in the passenger seat, and Diane is sat behind you.
Can I see her in the mirror?
Yes. But I'd say that in order to have a split-second reaction, no, I think you can. She's definitely moving, but I think you can't tell anything else without that being your entire action.
Then I'll say, desperately, whatever you're thinking, I'm not your enemy. Do not harm me.
Okay, well, I think we need sorry, I am muted. I don't know why I did that. Hello, Pierre.
Hello. I'm not having fun with my internet, believe it or not.
Oh, have you tried tethering? That might help.
That could be an option.
Again.
Yeah.
So let's make a roll. Okay, well, it's going to be difficulty 4, no matter what it is. And I think what it will be is probably composure plus persuasion, unless you've got any counter arguments.
Nope, I haven't. And I would add my or, but then I can't fail my can't shed myself of the conviction. So I'm just going to. That's rough. So I'm going to blood surge because I both need to succeed, but also really need to shed this compulsion, otherwise I can't do anything useful.
Yeah.
So I'm rolling 8 dice. 4 successes.
Okay. You feel just after you've said that, you feel something cold and metallic pressing against the base of your skull, and Diane says, "Talk fast."
Do I need to be able to see someone to use entrancement?
Well, while you're looking that up, let's hop on over to the other car. So Henry and Alice are in it. I believe Henry was driving, and I believe Alice was in the back with Valerius. Is that correct, Justin? Yeah.
No, I think I'm in the front seat. I think it's me and Henry in the front seats.
Okay. Was Tommy in the
and
back?
I think Tommy was in the back because he was like bodyguard in the back with Valerius kind of thing.
Bodyguard. Sure.
Yeah.
But
body assassin.
Okay, you're in the front. So as far as you're concerned, you've heard some very loud gunshots go off. You have not been hit. You probably haven't registered that it's Valerius that's been shot. Everything is happening very fast. But what you have registered is that the car engine has just erupted in flames.
If this was only a few years ago, that would be doing all kinds of things to me. But I suddenly feel that things are different. My action in the end of last session was like I probably had my hand on the door handle.
I think you had your hand on the door handle. Yeah, I think that's good.
In which case, I will what I'll attempt to do is to dive out of the car, like rolling, keeping low, like just keeping low. Sure. So I guess that's a dodge, really, more than anything.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. Henry, how about you?
I think I had already started at least opening the door and maybe making moves to get out. So I'm going to complete that and just get away from the fire. So
what your priority is just getting away as fast as possible. Alice's priority is kind of like getting out and staying as low as possible. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Yeah. In that case, both of you need to give me a roll. It's both going to involve dexterity. And I think it's quite possibly... Alice, is your priority staying away from shooting?
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know what? Give me... there isn't a dodge in this edition. I think it's just going to be the same. I think they're actually both going to be dexterity.
In this edition. No. Is it not athletics? Okay, fine.
Yeah, they'll both just be dexterity and athletics, I think. No target. Just let me know what you get.
Okay.
I rolled 3 successes.
I'm rolling 3 dice, and I get 0 successes.
I think it's safe to say that Henry is struggling with the door.
I've still got the seatbelt on.
Yeah, that's a good one. Let's say that.
Yeah.
We said you had the. Yeah, you are not used to cars, or at least you're not used to seatbelts, I would imagine.
Because they weren't common until like the 70s or something. Whatever.
50s and 60s, I think. But seems apt. Alice, on the other hand, you are out. You're kind of like scampering.
Wasn't wearing my seatbelt anyway.
Yeah, you're out and you're kind of like scampering, like kind of away. So just to set the scene, you're parked on a rather isolated road. There is an industrial park over to the right hand side of the cars, and it's kind of large and empty apart from some large warehouse and processing type buildings. There is a chain link fence between you and the interior there, but it's not particularly high or particularly difficult to get over or around. Over on the other side, there look to be basically like some like a hardware store and things like that, all closed for the night. Where is Alice focusing on going? Are you just trying to get away from the situation, kind of keep yourself out of line of fire?
Yeah, I don't want to get away from the car per se. I still want to make sure that Valerius dies, but I want to not be an obvious target. So if there's any cover behind within the nearest, if there's just nothing, then tell me. But otherwise,
Sure.
cover within 20, 30 meters.
Let's say there's some trees along the
or a
road.
bin
You can dash over it and dive behind a tree. That's fine.
Sure.
That's nearest to the car still. Okay. Tommy, you heard gunfire.
I whip round and see, I assume, a car on fire with
certainly starting to be on fire, with Jack stood by the campfire. And you know what? Let's have a wits. I think wits plus firearms. I think to like judge where he's firing and like who he's firing at. Let's have a wits plus firearms roll, and let's make that a difficulty of 3.
Okay. I'm going to willpower reroll. Boom, boom. I got 3 successes.
Okay, you are fully aware then, just from your swinging round and your immediate perception of the situation, that Jack is firing at Valerius in the back seat.
Okay. But Henry is can I see Henry like trying to open the?
Yeah, you can see Henry's door is open, but he's not emerging. You can't kind of see him through the flames, and you can see Alice kind of like scampering away to sort of behind a door. You really can't see unless you haven't got kind of like gleam of red eyes or a similar night vision thing, do you?
I have sensed the beast, but
I think probably not for this exact situation. But you can't see what's happening in the other car further back.
Sure. Okay. Well, if I think. So he's shooting at our target. Mm-hmm. I'm a bit annoyed that I wasn't told about this part of the plan, but I'm used to vampire society at this point. So I think I charge towards the door that he's shooting at.
Okay, to try and join in, essentially.
To join in, yeah.
Yeah, sure. That's absolutely fine. So let's...
Can I'm trying to figure out if now is the time that I should be using prowess.
It depends what you're trying to do.
Become more fit, like get pumped ready for a fight, basically.
Okay. Well, I mean, what is the mechanics for it?
Prowess adds my potence to feats of strength for a scene, basically, and my melee damage. So is it all right if I do that while charging up to the car, or is that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I would argue that for the sake of I personally would trigger it when you do one of those things. So
sure.
You don't unnecessarily, because I'm assuming it involves a rouse check.
Yep.
Yeah, yep. I'd wait until you're actually doing one of those things. Otherwise, you might waste it. Okay. So you know what? Actually, let's try and maintain some form of initiative here, or at least a kind of ordering, so that we know what's happening and who is going next. Although I say that, but there's no strict thing as exact initiative within Vampire 5. So it's more to do with close combat, range combat, and you know what? Everyone fits in everything else right now. So let's just go in the order that we've been in. So, Catherine.
I have checked, and I don't need to be in eye contact or anything as long as basically I'm near them. So I took the liberty of rolling, because you said that it was difficulty 4. Passed my rouse check on my 7 dice and rolled 5 successes. So I have successfully been entrancing, which just means that I get to add my presence to all future social roles, not just persuasion, which seems useful as I'm about to lie, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, go ahead. What are you saying to Diane?
We're on your side. Even you didn't know it, but we're here to help.
She says, well, that's good to know. Why don't we just sit here? You feel the gun moving away from the back of your head, but why don't we just sit here and see what happens with your friends over there?
I'm fine with that, darling. Let's stay here and watch the fireworks.
Okay. So we're back over at the car, and no, sorry. Go on, Neil.
I was going to say one more thing. Why don't you join me up the front so you have a better view?
She sounds amenable to that, and you hear her car door starting to go. Let's go with Alice before Henry, because Henry's stuck in a car seat. Alice, what are you doing? Jack is just still emptying his magazine into Valerius in the back seat by the sound of it.
If what I'm thinking is I don't want to go anywhere near that because the whole situation hasn't been explained yet. But if Valerius had an escape route, is there looking around? Is there like an obvious route out of here that Valerius might run in if he were to exit the car, like a road? Or
I mean, you're on a road, so like that. But
I suppose
there's no.
Yeah, I kind of want to position myself like that. Position myself.
Sure. I guess like it depends where you consider. Tommy is further down the road. And he seems quite capable, but behind is Catherine and Diane in a car. There is no obvious single route out of here.
Well,
because you're out in the open. So
yeah, that's fair enough. In which case, I think kind of like maybe maneuver if I can maneuver to a position kind of behind the car or close, like through the trees. I don't really think that makes it's not much to do that. I'm waiting to see basically what Valerius does. He dives out.
Are you repositioning, or are you kind of staying where you are?
Well, I don't really have a good mental map of what's going on. If like it would make sense to reposition, and there's somewhere I can get to which is also in cover that's close to the car.
Well, let's say, like I said, there's a chain link fence in the industrial park on one side. On the other side is just kind of a row of shops, like a hardware store and stuff. Occasionally along the road on your side are some trees, like you get on an avenue or what have you. Just trees by the roadside every I don't know 10 meters or so, and you're parked on that road.
I think I'll probably just stay put because I think if I probably would have run to a close tree, and I don't really want to move further away. So yeah,
sure, that's fine. Henry, why don't you give me I'm assuming you're trying to still get out of this car.
I am, and if it is the seatbelt that's got me trapped, I might try and. No, I'm just gonna keep struggling with the buckle, I guess.
Sure. Why don't you give me a composure plus technology roll? Difficulty 3.
Okay. Again, I'm rolling 3 dice.
Where are your stats?
In
you always have no dice.
Medicine, academics, and science. And intelligence.
Right.
All
really
of my
useful
points
for this story as written.
Yeah, great. If one success doesn't pass, then that's a bestial failure.
It does not, so it is a bestial failure.
Bestial failure.
Okay, well, let's take a look at our options, shall we? Let's take a look at our options. Well, I don't think you're at the point where you can start taking aggravated damage from this yet. I think you are just desperate and maybe perhaps starting to edge close to frenzy because those flames look quite big. So you know what? I'm just gonna go. You're thrashing around wildly trying to get it out, maybe unconsciously blood surging or something like that. Let's just go with a hunger increase.
Sure.
Unless you have any particular suggestions, Counter.
Not that I can think of, no.
That's fair enough.
Fear frenzy.
Neill is going for fear frenzy, but
saying...
this is the path to that, isn't it? You don't frenzy in this until you're. I thought Neill explained yourself.
So that's hunger frenzies. I'm more thinking that because if he's got a bestial failure and there's fire nearby, maybe it could trigger a premature fear frenzy.
It's basically a rot shrek, but it's not called a rot shrek because the system hates
Reasons.
fancy words.
German.
Rot
No one
shrek.
speaks
I
German.
would
Say,
argue-
hunger's fine. I just like frenzies because
Sure.
don't know why.
Feels quite on,
Because you're a
on theme.
creature of chaos.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I was just looking through the things as listed, but I think it's a fine reaction to it. Yeah, let's go with that instead. I think it is a better reaction. So I'm going to set the difficulty for that at 2 because it's not, it's not quite inside a burning building yet. So is it just a willpower roll? I'm assuming.
Plus 1/3 humanity.
Oh yes, plus 1/3 humanity.
Okay, so that's 3 dice.
What's your humanity?
6.
And one.
I spent all the willpower.
No, I'm not even
Oh,
spent
is it
all.
your
I
current
started with
willpower? It's
3.
not your total willpower. Oh, yeah.
I started with 3, and I have 2 aggravated damage.
Sure.
So I have 1 willpower every
Classic
refresh.
Go on then.
Oof, dear me.
3
What a pickle.
successes.
Hey,
Yeah.
there we go.
Succeeded.
Henry's a calm man of science. He's sure he can work his way around this
Contraption.
this contraption eventually. Maybe it might have to be on fire first, but otherwise. So that's Henry. Tommy, you can reach the car in this round.
Sure.
What are you doing?
So I look through the window. That has it been? So I assume the bullets have gone through. Has the glass all shattered? Is it possible?
Yeah, the glass pane on the side of the car is completely gone. And
Can I see
Yeah.
Valerius?
you kind of can. There's quite a bit of smoke around, but yeah, he's kind of like rocking back in the back chair with kind of like his chest is just riddled.
Okay, I try to tear open the door and try and pull him out. And if he doesn't resist, I grab him by the neck and.
Well, that would definitely be for next round because you've
Sure.
reached here in this round to be able to see. So yeah, okay.
So
Let's go back.
however
round.
much of that.
But before we do, it's going to be Valerius' turn.
He's not dead.
This is an elder Ventru, Tommy. Valerius springs kind of forward from where he is. He doesn't kind of leap out. The car door is still shut. He just the front half of him reaches out, grabs Jack by the collar, and just pulls backwards. And Jack kind of folds backwards as he's being dragged into the car. Jack is now completely filling the window of the car. And yeah, he's screaming horribly. His back's probably broken, and yeah, exactly what Valerius is doing on the other side of his body, maybe best not thought about.
So was it through the side window of the car?
Yes.
Ridiculous.
So, Catherine. Diane has she got out of the car and moved up to towards the driver's seat, but is now she has definitely been distracted by what's happened to Jack at that car and is kind of starting to stride forward and aim her gun.
Let's hope she doesn't miss and clip Henry.
Yeah.
Or Tommy.
Actually, I'd say, I think we can escalate Tommy up in the initiative here because Tommy sounds like he's about to at least enter some form of physical conflict or other. So Pierre, what's Tommy doing in reaction to this? You can't see Valerius anymore.
Okay.
He's presumably there on the other side of
Yeah.
Jack's rapidly dying form.
Sure. I guess I need. So the window has he reached through that side window.
He reached through the shattered back window, grabbed Tommy,
Grabbed him and pulled him in.
I keep saying Tommy, grabbed Jack by the throat and pulled him in so hard that he's kind of bent over backwards.
I guess
being
I'll
dragged in.
I guess I'll grab Jack and try and pull him out of the way.
pull him out of the way.
To get to.
With any sense of well-being towards Jack, or just
No.
Are we're giving up on him as a viable human at this point? It's fine if you say no.
I'm
just
assuming.
Are you trying to drag Jack away, or are you just trying to wrench him aside to get at Valerius? You know.
I wasn't aware that like the level of force I could apply to him. Like, I'm not trying to kill Jack, very much not. But I'm not like.
You're not trying to kill him.
Yeah, you're not. But what I'm trying to say is, are you trying to get Jack away from Valerius, or are you just trying? Or is your real goal here just you need Jack out of the way so you can get to Valerius? You know, is there any concern for his well-being? That's all I'm trying to establish.
Okay, I think this guy looks a bit like a soldier, so actually, yes, there is going to be a bit of concern.
Okay.
So I am, So. Yeah,
that's.
I thought you were going to say he looks like a soldier. He's expendable. He signed up for this.
So yeah, it just basically it depends what role that we're going to make, right? Because if you were just going to tear him aside, I was just going to ask for a strength plus athletics roll because you're just, you know, But with this, if you're trying to actively just get him off and out and away from Valerius, I think it's more like a strength plus brawl roll. And give me a second to take a look. And you're just going to oppose Valerius. I think that's fair enough. So let's take a look at his. Yeah, that's going to be a difficulty. No, you've got to beat him. So a difficulty 4.
Okay. I'm rolling 7 dice. I got 5 successes.
Okay. Is that have you activated your prowess?
I didn't.
Well, that's great. That you didn't do it, but don't forget to do it if you want to. You know, do stuff next time. You
roll kind of, and then say I will.
You kind of wrap your arms around Jack, kind of like his head isn't in the car; it's like smashed up against the top of it, and you kind of put your arms under, you know, his armpits and wrench backwards. To pull him out and away. There is kind of a horrible cracking and snapping noise as you do so, and kind of Jack coughs, blood sprays out across the top of the car, and so you've got him kind of in your arms now. Are you just kind of laying him down? Are you throwing him aside? Are you know?
Okay, when that happened, when blood sprayed everywhere, did I get? Do I have any impression that this man is alive, or like is he totally dead?
I mean, okay, let's give me a wits plus medicine roll, and I realize that's just a random thing to happen right now, but a wits plus medicine roll, and I'm going to say that's difficulty 3 as well.
Good, I'm rolling 2 dice, I believe. Yep.
I can't believe there's one roll in this that I might actually have a chance at.
You know, that is exactly. I got a failure. One success.
Tommy really has no idea. You know, like you saw people in the war die from infections of things that you thought was just a flesh wound, and likewise you saw men survive having half their head blown off. Like, you really have no idea.
Okay, well in that case, I'll just put him down in a kind of carefully. Or
well, I think in that case that might start to soak up some of next term's action as well.
Sure.
So you've wrenched him out, and you're kind of maybe pacing back a couple of steps to try and get him to one side. So let's say that's what Tommy's doing. Otherwise, let's stick with. I don't think anyone else has entered any kind of is entering any physical combat. So let's go with the established. Yeah, the established order that we have at the moment. So let's go with Catherine. So Catherine, Diane, as I say, has moved forward a bit. Is drawing her, aiming her gun, having watched the situation with Tommy and Jack and so forth. Neill? Oh, you're thinking. I thought you were.
So she's definitely left the car.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's no point staying here. I am going to. I mean, there's no rush. Catherine can't do anything. Catherine's going to check the car, see if there's keys. If there are, take them. Unless Diana's already taken them.
I think, would Jack have taken them with him? I think Jack would have given the keys to Diane.
And would Diane have taken them?
Oh, yeah.
Fine. Then, I mean, I can search the
Try.
car later. I will leisurely get out of the car, close the door, walk over, because at a
Start
safe
coming.
distance, at a safe
Yeah,
distance.
maintaining a distance, but sure. Yeah.
But obviously, I'm on her side, so I have to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's. You know what I think?
Oh dear.
No, it's okay. We'll wait a second. We'll wait a second. So Alice,
Yep.
you've obviously seen everything that's happened. What are you doing now?
Well, Jack is no longer a threat, so I have no reason to be away from the car. I am impressed that Tommy didn't go to save his friend and instead went to go kill someone. But I still think Henry probably needs some help. So I would probably go to the other side of the car from where Tommy is and move to assist Henry.
Sure. How are you attempting to get Henry out? Are you attempting to release the seatbelt for him, or? And I remind everyone, I think everyone has knives.
Yeah, I would if I have time to, I would cut Henry free, but I might only be able to get to the door. But yeah,
No,
that
I
could be
think
my intention.
I think you can run there and try and do something, and getting your knife out and like just desperately trying to cut a seatbelt isn't a long, protracted action.
No.
So I'd say that can be done. Why don't you give me a composure? I think more than dexterity, like being calm and just doing it. You know what? Your choice of composure or dexterity. Plus, I mean, it's probably going to be melee, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I have one in composure and nothing in melee, so I don't want to use that. I would instead use my 2 in dexterity on their own.
Sure. And I think that's going to be a realistically, that's probably a 3. So I don't know if you want a blood surge.
I think that sounds reasonable.
You know what? I'll offer you succeeding at a cost. How about that? It's up to you.
No, I think this is a perfectly reasonable occasion to blood surge, and that's a rouse roll, isn't it?
Okay.
Blood surge.
It is a rouse roll, yeah. Well,
And
not
then
to
does
do
that-
it, just to see if it consumes hunger.
Yeah, it will consume some hunger, so it will raise my hunger to 3 after the roll. And how many dice does it add? Is it 2?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a total of 4 die.
It's difficulty 3. And obviously, you can use willpower for a reroll. Should you?
And I will do because I got 1 success on my hunger die. And I will willpower reroll.
Well, do you want to do that? Because I believe it's now impossible unless you've rolled a 10.
No, I think you
can't reroll hunger dice. Remember that.
I know, but if I get 2 successes on my other die that I gained from blood surging, so 4 die total because I had 2 to the die from blood surge, 2 dice from blood surging. I've got 2 in dexterity.
Doesn't a 10 only provide 2 successes if it's paired with?
No, but I've already had 1 success.
Yes.
I've got 2 die I gave from blood surging that I can reroll.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yeah.
And I got 2 successes, so that's 3 successes total.
There we go. You dash round to Henry, who is with increasing sort of desperation, flailing at the seatbelt. You yourself aren't exactly sure, when in a flustered situation, how one would remove it. But it doesn't matter because you have a knife. You lean in, kind of pull the seatbelt away from Henry's. What are you wearing again, Henry? Just kind of like an office gear, right? Office wear. Yeah. Just casual. Yeah. Pull it away from Henry's shirt and tie. Slice through it. He's out. He's free.
Good.
Henry, your turn.
I'm going to get out of the car, move away a few paces, and then turn back to look at the car and just what is Viserys doing?
Viserys?
Valerius.
I get
Viserys
Valerius
Targaryen?
and Viserys mixed up in my head.
Valerius.
Too similar.
Valerius.
Barry's the spider.
Yeah.
Yes. What is he doing?
So you dash away kind of past Alice and turn around to look. Valerius looks. I mean, he's kind of reaching out, having had Jack kind of torn away from him. You can see that his face is like curled up in a rictus of fury, and he has a lot of fresh blood. Just like the entire lower half of his face is covered in fresh blood, and it's poured down the front of his kind of soft purple suit. Let's have a picture of Valerius again. Just to remind everyone what he looks like. He's just a 90s goth. So yeah, he had, and all of his face is just covered in blood, fresh blood, and it's down his front. He still has those bullet wounds. Yeah, he looks pretty angry.
My next intention, if I have any sort of time left, is to draw my gun.
Yeah, I think you've got time to draw your gun. That's absolutely fine. Okay, let's go back round to the start. But before we do, something happens, and that something is the car erupts in flames. So I'm happy giving Alice a bit of a involuntary little dodge roll to see, because you unfortunately have saved Henry and are now the closest to the car. But I think you can get a little dodge roll to see how well you avoid the kind of small explosion of the engine and the gas line. Let's have I think it's just dexterity plus athletics, isn't it? That's what it's going to be. And you tell me just how many successes you get, and we're going to use that to mitigate how much damage you take.
2 successes.
2 successes. Okay. So, correct me if I'm wrong, Neill, but obviously because this is aggravated damage, there won't be any level of soak. Is there even soak in V5 as it is?
No, the closest is
Not
the
really.
Fortitude Power Defy Bane, which none of us have.
Sure. I think that being right next to it, but not kind of in it, I think we're looking at a total of 3 aggravated. So knock the 2 off that. Take 1 aggravated level of health damage, please.
That's just rude.
And you're like tumbling onto the tarmac of the road. I think it's safe to say, kind of like scrabbling backwards to get away with, like, maybe your hair is slightly on fire and kind of a burn on your shoulder.
Ow.
And in fact, being as that's being burned by a fire, do we think it's fair to have a clear frenzy for that as well? I think so, right? Yeah, being burned too. So give me, it's willpower plus 1/3 of your humanity.
And that's 1/3 rounded up, right?
It's your current
Rounded
willpower, rounded down. And it's your current willpower, not, your total one. And the difficulty's 2 on that.
That should be fine. I've got 4 willpower remaining, and I've got an extra die for my humanity, so that shouldn't be too bad. And I roll 4 successes.
Yeah, absolutely fine. You are not overcome by...
Still scary.
I'm going to use it, even if V5 doesn't. You're not overcome by Rot Shrek. It's too cool a word to not use it.
It's too cool of a word.
So, we will move back to the beginning. And it's one of these things, because I guess Tommy technically, neither of you are technically involved in melee now. But I think, you know what, I'm just going to have Valerius first because he's older. And I think that's reasonable. Valerius, you're kind of back now, having like placed Jack on the ground. You can see Valerius' car door like clicking and starting to swing open. But the entire car has erupted in flames now. You kind of can't see him because of the flames and the smoke, but the door is opening. So, it's definitely holding him back somewhat, but it's not. Yeah, he's clearly not dead.
And I'm aware that over half of my body is covered in burns. Do I feel like when I see the car explode in fire, does that affect me in any way at all, or do I find that neutral in terms of like?
You know what? Fire? That's a lovely suggestion. Pierre, why don't we consume about half your turn here with a memoriam, or in fact the entire, based on how we've run it for the other stuff, sure. It will be an entire turn, I think, because you have that kind of like almost trance-like state as you go through it, right?
Okay.
So yeah, what is around you, dangerous though it is, flashes out of existence for a moment, and you are somewhere else in another place and another time. There was a flash, and then just darkness with nothing but the ringing in your ears to tell you that you are alive. It must have been a shell. Damn it was close. You are covered in earth and dirt, the filthy trench water creeping into your boots and clothes. For a moment you think you escaped, were one of the lucky ones. Then the feeling comes back a little, and with it an ocean of pain. Your whole side is burning. As your fellow soldiers pull you out of the debris, you hear them gasp to look at you. You wonder why they aren't putting out the fire you can feel burning you. Then you look at your crushed body and see there is no fire, just burn after burn, before you mercifully pass out.
Rough.
Okay. Yep. And I'm just staring at the fire, thinking that.
Thank you for that suggestion, Pierre. So, Catherine, Diane is kind of just moving closer to the car. She has her gun out and is kind of taking aim at that door that's opening, but it isn't opening fire yet.
You know what? I'm going to do the same. Because I don't think Valeria, if I was in a fiery car, I don't think I'd be in a mood to listen to someone saying, I'm not with this ghoul who tried to attack you. I think I'd just attack them. So I'm going to take my gun out and do the same. I'm also going to turn on Daunt just in case that remotely helps.
Is that like an intimidation presence?
Yeah, it means that people have to roll incredibly low difficulty to attack me, which I'm assuming won't affect Valerius, but you never know.
You never know.
Never know.
You never
know.
Alice, you are scrabbling away, kind of, I'm imagining in a kind of crab position on your back away from the car with some light burns. What are you going to do? You probably can't see that Valerius' door is opening because you have a massive eruption car bonfire between you.
I think I would, at this point, coat my blade in my hand with the poisonous blood that I can secrete using Scorpion's Touch. And the Scorpion's Touch lasts for a scene anyway. But yeah, so I've got my blade out. I want to kill Valerius. He is a traitor to Mithras. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. It takes me a round or so. I just have to double check how long it takes me, but yeah, it takes me a couple of rounds to. But yeah, one round per turn. I can coat one blade per turn, so it takes me one turn to coat the blade.
So it takes you the turn to do it. I kind of see no reason why you can't move while you're doing that, though.
I'd like to believe that because you can
chant and do weird things.
Yeah,
with
the imagery probably
walking,
is.
right?
I need to cover it in my own blood, which is pretty easy to do with a blade. But
yes,
yes.
Absolutely. Does it involve a rouse check or something like that?
Yes, it will do.
I would imagine so. Yeah.
And then I guess my position would want to be to the opposite side of the car from Tommy in case Valerius comes out the other way. Away from Tommy.
Okay. So you're standing up and trying to take in. I would imagine that if you're exactly on the opposite side, you still can't see what's happening on the other side. It's all flames and smoke. Just preparing in case he comes out on your side. Yeah,
I might not have like the knife right up against the door. I want to, there could be the illusion that I'm not.
Oh, trust me, you ain't taking any further steps towards that door.
Yeah.
Or if you do, you're going to have to give me some willpower rolls to do so.
Yeah. No, thank you.
No. Henry.
I think I'm probably just going to open fire with the aim of trying to keep him pinned into the car for as long as possible.
Yes. Are you aware that Henry doesn't know that the door is opening? Because you are also on Alice's side, right? So as for all you can see is a car just absolutely consumed in flame and smoke. What you could do, you may believe, Henry might believe he is still in exactly the same place in the back seat, and it's absolutely fine if you want to take aim at the area you kind of think he is and start opening fire. That's absolutely fine. But Henry is operating on very little information, that's all.
I thought he was getting out at the opposite side to where Tommy is, and I was on the opposite side to where Tommy was.
No, I
may have switched things around here in my head because
my head map is the same as yours, Matt.
No, yeah, because I think I was thinking American style driving for some reason, wasn't I? With the But you were driving, so you were on the right, which is the same side that Valerius was on.
Yes. I had my
Sure.
left and my right the wrong way round, but we are coming to the same conclusion.
You know what? You know what? Up until this point, I've narrated it in a certain way. So what we'll have is that we'll swap which side Valerius was on. So
It was an
Valerius was
American
on
model car.
Valerius was on the road side, okay, and you are on the side of the pavement in the industrial park. So let's say that you are on the opposite side from him. I just have to switch around my.
He could have shifted in the car while Tommy was out doing his walkabout.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So, am I on the same side as Tommy?
You are not on the same side as Tommy.
So Valerius is getting out towards Tommy.
Correct. He's getting out on the road side. You are on the pavement side.
Okay. Now I'm following it.
It should have been the way round you're talking, but I've narrated the scene so far the other way around, so let's not retcon. We'll just switch. So you're on. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Just imagine the car is upside down.
No.
Wait around a couple of minutes, you might not.
In that case, I'm basically trying to think whether the sensible thing is still to open fire.
You can
It's
just
not keeping them
move.
pinned down, but it is just dealing. Yeah, I guess move around.
You are not currently aware where he is because you can't see him.
Okay.
But you may presume he's still in the place he was before and open fire on that area. That's absolutely fine. This can all be fixed by moving around to see.
I'll do that.
Okay.
I'm flustered by the fact that I couldn't see, but yes, I'm
sure.
Move and try and get eyes on him.
Yes, you can do that. You can move and take an action as well, whether that be shooting.
Most dangerous thing.
You move around. You can see Tommy on the floor. He's kind of placed Jack on the ground, who is essentially bent in half the wrong way, and just I'm not even going to make you roll. That man has seconds to live if he's still alive at all. The door that Valerius was by has creaked open and is in the process of being pushed open.
Okay.
So now, would you like to fire?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you give me a dexterity plus firearms roll?
Okay, so that's going to be.
Calculating the rough difficulty for these is difficult because it kind of assumes essentially that there is either cover or dodging happening. So let's just set a difficulty for hitting him behind flames, behind cover, and where there's a lot of smoke and so on and so forth. But he's moving relatively slowly. I'm going to say that's a difficulty 4.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to Blood Surge. I'm not super worried about hunger because there is soon to be a fresh corpse lying around.
Sure. Neill has pointed out that firearms in V5. Neill has pointed out that firearms in V5 is normally composure rather than dexterity, and I think that actually really applies at this point as well. So composure plus firearms, which may make it worse for you.
It does.
In that case, you know what? Take dexterity. It's fine. You're also trying to do something quickly. Yeah, take dexterity. Plus firearms.
Such generosity.
Yeah. Difficulty 4.
Pass my rouse roll. 3, 4, 5 dice. 3. Yep. 0 successes, and there's almost no point in willpowering it unless I get a crit, which is unlikely.
That's fine. You're just kind of you're shooting at the area you think Valerius is. Honestly, I very much doubt Henry can tell if he's hit or not. Let's that's our kind of initiative order. So let's go back round to the beginning. Valerius is pushing open the car door, and he's kind of emerging and standing. His clothes are on fire, and he still has kind of the blood drenched down him. His hair is almost entirely gone, and he looks pretty mad. And he is going, I think, to immediately swing for Tommy. So yeah, Tommy, you are like fully aware kind of now. So are you? Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming you're going to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Being as you probably were going to address him with a kind of brawl attack anyway, right?
Yeah, that was my intention.
Yeah, sure. So why don't we just do a roll off for it? And by that, I mean you can roll against his stats because I'm not rolling dice if I can help it. So that will be... is it typically strength plus brawl or dexterity plus brawl in V5? Do you know, Neill?
Strength.
Thought so.
Normally.
So let's go with that, which will be a 4.
Is grappling applicable here?
Depends if you're trying to grapple him or not. I would advise not, because he's on fire.
Okay. He's just trying to hit me. Is the thing.
He's just trying to strike you. This isn't a roll. Like, if you win this roll, you'll hit him instead.
Sure. I think now is probably a good time to use my potence.
It probably is, yeah.
Although...
Because your difficulty is going to be 4.
Okay. So
let me. It's actually going to be 5 because his rating is 4, so you need to get over his to hit him. Otherwise, we definitely have had like draws before in the London Ascendant part of this, and we kind of fudged what happens, right?
It means that each of you do that basically damage value of damage.
Right, just flat damage value.
Yeah. I'm rolling 7 dice, but I don't know. This actually isn't a feat of strength, so I won't use my prowess. I think I'll just roll those.
As Neill says, it doesn't add dice to your combat, but it does add dice to your damage.
Oh, and this could cause damage. Okay, I will use it.
If you win out, or if you draw, then yes.
I will use it with the hope that I win out. And I'm going to roll 7 dice with a difficulty of 5, my hunger of 2. And I am going to do a willpower reroll. And I still fail. I got 4 successes.
Well, that's not a fail. That's matching him. So
do you do aggravated damage with lethal body as well, or do you not have lethal body?
Well, he's not mortal, so I don't know if it does.
Lethal body only does aggravated damage to mortals.
Oh yeah, okay. It's been a while since I've been on.
The idea is they're fucking tearing bits off humans, you know. Like,
but maybe I can,
and the only reason I know that offhand is because Valerius has that, and I've noticed that now. That I gave him because it just gives you stats. So, raw stats.
I matched his roll,
and then you have to go look what that means, because what could possibly mean, and then build it yourself essentially. Okay, so what this means is you basically did we say that it means both people just take 1 damage, or that both people just take the base amount of damage?
It's 1 damage. I think when we did it last time, I checked it later. It's just 1 damage, but that is influenced by damage value. So it's 1 plus damage value.
1 plus damage value, yeah. I believe the damage value of fists is 0.
Yes, unless they have potence active, in which case it's unless they have prowess active. In which case
does prowess just add your potence value?
Half of my potence rating rounded up to my melee damage.
Half to melee, full to brawl.
Okay. So in that case, I am brawling. So, but that's the same actually, because my potency is 1. So
well, there we go. In that case, unfortunately for you, Valerius has 3 in potence. So Valerius will take... I'm not tracking Valerius' damage. We're doing this in a more narrative way. But you have damaged him. As Neill says, your potence can't be 1 if you have prowess, because prowess is a level 2 potence power.
Oh yes, sorry. I do actually have two potents. Yes. So,
Okay. Yeah, that's 2 damage dealt to him, and that's going to be 3 superficial damage dealt to you, but that's rounded down. Oh, halved and rounded up. So that's 2 superficial damage to you.
Cheers.
So what essentially happens is Valerius emerges and swings for you. You kind of try and reel back against it, but his fist makes contact directly with your sternum. You're fairly sure that if you were mortal, all the air would have been punched out of your body, and you feel kind of ribs crack in your chest. There is an odd marbling, almost translucent sheen to Valerius's flesh up close like this. And in return, you kind of reach out and kind of lightly tag him across his jaw, and you feel something dislocate there. But really, you're not sure how much he's feeling it. This guy has just survived the explosion of a car. So, yeah.
Am I still standing?
Yeah, I'd say so. You're kind of reeling back, but still standing. You know, he only mildly got the better of the exchange. So, yeah.
Cool.
Although, oh, never mind. You know what? Can I just mildly retcon? Sorry, I'm looking up the various things his disciplines do while I do this. Yeah, your fist made contact with his jaw, and it's literally, it's like punching stone. He reduces all superficial damage by 5 before halving it.
Cool. Yeah, this is bad for
Body
me.
of marble. So, is that what it's called? Body of marble.
Seems bad.
Coterie suddenly goes quiet as we all start panicking.
Oh no!
So, who is next? It is Alice.
Well, I
No,
am
it's
alongside.
Catherine. Sorry, it's Catherine. I'm terrible at this. It's Catherine.
Is it because isn't Alice wanting? I got like imminently about to go into melee.
But it goes melee. But it goes melee range.
Firearm.
Then.
Oh yes.
soon to be
Then
melee.
about to engage in it. Yeah, I definitely knew that, which is definitely why I said that. Yeah. Yes.
And although should it be Diane before me?
Kind of. I prefer
fine.
leaving NPCs to last, but yeah.
I am fine with that. I will go pew pew and shoot with my pistol at Valerius.
I like to imagine Catherine is actually saying pew pew.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I can barely harm him if he has toughness, but those are mere details.
Again, like, right, yeah. So it's. I really don't like in this system how dexterity plus athletics is like the challenge against fucking shooting someone, which is.
But if he's in open cover, if he's not in cover, he loses 2 to that.
Yeah, I know, but it's still. I just I would prefer to have other factors, I guess. But well, in that case, let's look at what his dexterity plus athletics is. It rounds up to 3, and it's going to be at a -2, so difficulty 1, I guess.
Oh, I might.
Oh no, I will add a penalty, because there's a lot of flames. Even though he's emerged from the car, there's a lot of flames and smoke between you and him.
Heat mirage as well.
Yeah, let's go with. I'm actually tempted to make it 3, unless that's, I think, +2 at your range with the amount of smoke and flame, and probably for people closer, it'll be a penalty of 1.
So I'm losing 1 die, or is he? Sorry,
yeah. It's whether it's difficulty or not, right?
I think it makes more sense for me to lose dice than for the difficulty to go up, because he's dodging and difficulty is weird when you apply it for people. Although I'm fine with difficulty going up by 1 too.
I think it definitely counts as an environmental or external change.
Yeah. So
I mean,
my
the
difficulty
very
goes
definition
up,
of that.
So my difficulty is going up by 1 to 2.
No, I'm putting up to 3. I think it's
3.
a +2 for you and a +1 for people who are closer.
So I'm rolling 3 dice,
Mhm.
which means I'm more likely to get a bestial failure than hit than succeed. Is my worry now.
What rhymes with blood surge and is what you
Yeah,
love?
even then, it seems pretty
Slud
unlikely.
blurge.
I can't. No, that won't work. Fine,
Oh,
I'll
man.
just shoot him and blood surge, and let's
Yes.
see what happens. Okay, that could be a lot worse. I got a messy critical with 4 successes.
I mean, that could definitely be worse than very good.
Yes.
So,
And my weapon, we noted down, is which I have lost. I think it was just a +2 pistol, but it was a light pistol.
quite possibly, yes.
Sounds about right.
I mean, the others of you, so definitely, I think someone else took normal pistols.
Yeah,
it is a +2. Yeah, it is a +2. So I'm assuming that would therefore represent 6 damage. 4 successes plus,
because the margin is only 1.
It's the margin, right? Yeah. So 3. Well, let's not bother talking about damage then, because it's going to be superficial, right? So
yeah, and he's immune to that.
Yeah, anything like you have to do 6 superficial damage to him to damage him at all. Possibly higher, in fact. Is it rounded up or rounded down? Superficial damage when it's received.
It's rounded down, but it's rounded down after toughness.
Rounded down after. Yeah.
So you take 5 off, and then you halve the remaining.
So are the bullets pinging off him?
Yes.
Oh God.
So let's sort this messy critical out, shall we? What do you think? What have you got? Any suggestions?
Part of me thinks the harm compulsion, because I am trying to harm someone, and getting a compulsion to really make sure I have to do it. It's almost impossible given the current state of things. Otherwise, willpower damage because I'm failing so much.
I err away from compulsion just because you've already got one.
No, I passed. I
Oh, of course. No, yeah, you told. Yeah. Well, it's up to you. I'm not happy with either one.
So you see, harm feels slightly more appropriate, but there's no way I'm going to succeed in doing that at all.
Take the willpower damage then.
Yeah, I'll just take.
I'm fine with that.
I'll take willpower damage.
I have another option I could give you.
Oh, exciting.
Which is a narrative one outside of your control, and might involve hearing some sirens starting up in the distance.
Okay. Let's go with that.
I mean, I just want to start us on the track to a potential masquerade breach.
That's fine. I'm fine with that. Obviously.
Okay. Sirens start up in the distance then. Someone called the cops.
Someone heard gunshots and explosions.
So our next individual, I believe, is someone who is engaged in ranged combat. Is Henry.
I'm not convinced Henry can do anything useful.
But does Henry know that?
He could attend.
If bullets are pinging off him, he can probably guess, but I have no idea what else he could do.
Does any medical?
Try it. Yeah, just do a medical roll.
Save the
I was just
dying
going to
fool.
go. Yeah, knowing about how
It's the
vampire
dying
marble stuff works. Although I suppose that's a cult, really.
What's the plan?
I guess I'm going to fire again. I guess, yeah.
I think what Neill was about to say is there is literally no way you can harm him with a shot that you're going to take, probably.
Yeah.
I was going to suggest something that he could do, but it's too metagamey for me to try and suggest out of character. So I'm not going to do that.
Fair enough. Is this one with dexterity or composure?
I mean, like on my cheat sheet, it actually says either. So I don't know. It's up to you. Whichever is higher. I think you guys need all the help you can get at this point.
We're all going to die here.
Dexterity. I'm also going to do a blood surge and drop my dice. Pass the blood surge. 4 dice. No, 5 dice. 2 successes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure that was. What were you rolling against anyway? It'll have been 1 less difficulty than Catherine. So you do hit him.
Okay.
But yeah, it just pings off his body.
Justin has made a point in the private chat about toughness.
Oh, toughness by the book says it cannot reduce the damage below 1.
I might be misreading it. I just raising it. It's not a big thing to dwell on.
Why are we talking about the term toughness? Tell me what toughness means.
I thought we thought that was what you're referring to in terms of the fortitude.
He's not using toughness now.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
We've been saying toughness a lot.
Marble.
Hmm?
Is he using Flesh of Marble?
He is using Flesh of Marble.
Because that only ignores the first source each turn.
Not subsequent sources.
Oh, there we
In which
go.
case would have been bleeding him dry, 1 superficial damage by superficial damage.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we're still losing
and the
terribly.
toughness is reduced superficial by 5 before halving, but to a minimum of 1. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So I think we've done 2 superficial damage so far in all of our all-out attacks. We have
We're
Yes.
doing the
slightly bothered.
We're
Yes.
doing great.
Well, what this actually means then is Tommy actually did 2, or 2, which was then halved to 1. Yeah. So Tommy hit him, and that got absorbed by Flesh of Marble.
Look.
And
Yep.
then Catherine shot him for how many damage was that? Did that end up being in total?
3 halved to 2.
3 half to 2, reduced to 1 by the thing. So that's one superficial damage that he's taken, and this therefore is another one if it does it to a minimum of.
It says it's unclear whether it's reduced to 1 and then halved potentially to 0, or whether it's
rounded up when halved.
It's rounded up.
or not. Okay.
Okay, then that's okay. Then there we are.
My gun is also a +4.
Because it's the heavy pistol, yes. So let's calculate this more fully. I suspect it might still be 1, but let's just calculate this more fully. So you had a flat roll, so that means that you just made it, which means it's 4 damage because it's a +4. That gets Neill.
Because he's not attacking back. A tie. If Henry's attacking against a flat difficulty of 2 for dodging, that means it's an actual success, not merely a flat 1. So he gets.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But there's no margin.
Ignore me.
Yeah. So that's a +4. Yeah. Which is reduced by the it's no ignore me. It literally can't be more than 1 unless you hit him for like 6 or 7 or something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it is 1 more superficial damage. Okay. Tommy, you can see kind of Valerius kind of like reaching down as you stagger back, kind of flames still erupting over his suit, kind of his face curled in a rictus snarl. Then you hear another gunshot go off, kind of over, it'll be on your left. And Valerius just kind of staggers back, clutching at his neck, and collapses onto the ground and is kind of trying to crawl away.
Okay.
Henry, you downed him.
Yeah. Whoa.
With a very loud gun, I should imagine.
Yes.
Yep.
I guess I go up to him.
We're out of initiative now, by the way.
Sure. I go up to him and I guess I turn him over and say, you should never have betrayed Mithras.
Damn straight.
You turn him over. You say that, and he goes, "Wait! I know lots of things. I know who you are. I can tell you. I can give you the seal."
I think I hesitate at that, and I look across to whoever's nearby, and I'm like, should I?
I mean, I don't know
Henry and Alice are pretty close to you, and Catherine and Diane are a little bit away. But am I safe to say, Catherine, that you are approaching this situation?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If Alex gets the chance,
before.
she's going to repeatedly plunge her dagger into this guy's chest. So, like, that's Alice's next move. Like,
I mean, are you actually doing this though?
Yeah,
When you say,
if I get the chance.
So you're shoving Tommy out of the way and stabbing him repeatedly.
I'm not sure. I'm not going to try. My understanding is that Tommy is still on board with killing this person, and Alice's goal.
Yeah, but
if Alice comes up,
but you can't just slip your knife.
I come out like that. I'm approaching the body with a raised knife.
Okay,
possibly shouting.
Like, it's clear what your intentions are. Yeah. Sure.
Okay, I'm going to say he says he can get us the seal.
I don't care. He was involved in killing Mithras, and I'm saying this as I am trying to stab this person.
Okay, yeah, you keep saying that. You are aware Tommy is hunched over him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not. I will try and get between Tommy and Valerius. I'm not going to try and hurt Tommy in this process.
Okay, so
if, for example, if Tommy was to try and shield the body, I would not stab. That would be a problem for me.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, let's ask Tommy then, because Alice seems to be approaching you like this. So, like, are you moving out of the way, or are you trying to keep Valerius alive long enough to hear what he's going to say in reply to what Alice?
I want to hear. I want to hear what he has to say. I want to hear what he has to say, so I'll try and convince Alice.
Yeah, can I? Like, I'd like
have
that
him.
Yeah. I would appreciate a roll on that one.
Sure.
Alice is very angry.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess that's going to be.
I want to see how convincing Tommy is. I'm willing to be convinced.
Mercy.
I think this is going to be like, you know what, Tommy? I'd say at this point it's not really manipulation, right? I'd say it's either charisma plus composure versus, charisma or composure plus persuasion.
Okay.
I'd also take leadership. I feel that would be impressive to me at this point.
All of them are actually. Can I use intimidation?
If that's what you want to go for.
You know what? I think so. Yeah. However,
I am carrying a knife dripping in my poisonous blood.
Alice, do you want to roll against it, or do you just want to see how well he does, and you can make the call on how much you're persuaded by that?
What would you want me to roll against it?
Composure. It's kind of opposite of composure, isn't it? Sort of. I don't know.
Resolve?
Yeah, no, because it's not actually resolve in the same way, really. I think resolve is actually a really weird name for the stat, and I don't particularly like it. Willpower, I guess. Willpower? No, because that's restraining. Anyone else with any suggestions?
The closest to willpower is composure plus resolve. Or although sometimes the book uses composure plus intelligence.
That might not be a bad idea.
But it's also effectively it's the opposite of willpower that we want Justin to roll here, like
I think
giving
composure
into.
is sensible.
Isn't it the idea we want him to roll willpower and then we want him to fail it?
Yeah, so it is willpower. So it is composure plus resolve, because it's Alice's willpower to ignore the arguments of Tommy. So if Alice fails the roll, then the willpower's failed.
Sure. No. Yeah, that's fair. All right. Willpower. Let's just have it against your willpower then.
Okay.
Against my composure resolve with my current willpower, because obviously my composure worth resolve is my max willpower. But so you said willpower, so it's current willpower. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. This might all be moot because I rolled 0 successes and a potential bestial failure.
I rolled 1 success, so
you could willpower it.
I mean, when you say a potential bestial failure, I mean, if it's 0, it is a bestial failure because it's definitely a failure.
Yeah, I think I should willpower. This is a critical moment, and I still got 0 successes. So it's still a bestial failure. But I also use one of my willpower.
I mean, as a bestial failure, the thing is, we can interpret this bestial failure in a number of ways. Alice, how many successes did you get?
I got a single success.
Okay, so I'd say you're not if you've got more successes than that, I'd say and combined with the bestial failure, I'd say that you just shoved Tommy aside and planted your knife in his chest. But with the margin only being like 1 success versus 0, I think if people are up for it, I'm welcome to counter suggestions. That what has happened here is Tommy's been pushed a bit to the edge in this situation. He's trying to get some answers out of this guy, and this Tremere is just on a murder-happy rampage. I think Tommy might wheel round and physically try to restrain Alice angrily.
Fair.
Sure. Yeah.
That
Do we
seems
think
fair.
that's
Does your prowess last for a
failure?
scene, or is it just an
It's
action?
scene.
It does last for
Oh,
a scene.
what the frick? How am I
And,
supposed to
like,
compete
the
with that?
failure there is obviously turning on your coterie mates, and also you've let go of Valerius physically.
Mhm.
Whether he's in a state or not to do anything with that situation is an entirely different matter. But yeah,
So is it strength plus brawl?
yeah, I think competing strength plus brawl things
I got 1 success. There's your there's your target.
to see kind of.
Is
And
this-
I'm not going to do damage or anything. We're just going to
Is this grappling?
Yeah, definitely grappling. Yeah.
That's 7 successes with a possible messy crit.
Okay, well, it is a messy crit because you've succeeded. Okay.
Alice is dead. Just dead Alice.
No,
No.
I think the messy critical in this situation will be I'll just apply some damage to Alice.
Sure, yeah.
Because that's I think that applies unless everyone wants to suggest
Sure.
otherwise. Tommy, you round on Alice, and you're sick of you're trying to be in this group of people who I think it's safe to say you've had the creeping sensation that you're perhaps the most ethical and
Sensible.
moral member of this particular group, and
He killed Mithras.
you just want to know what's happening in the situation. Alice is not letting that happen. You round on Alice, grab her, and throw her hard onto the tarmac floor. And that was a margin of 6.
Yeah.
With actually quite a lot of... and then what's the extra from the prowess? 2.
Yeah.
So, but that's halved down to 4. So that's going to be 4 superficial damage to Alice.
I think I shout,
There's-
control yourself!
Yeah. So you say as you break my flipping spine on the pavement floor.
Yeah. Does that take you round to any aggravated, Alice, or are you...
No, I've not taken any damage. No, it doesn't.
Because you
I have
took
taken
1 aggravated damage, and now
I've got 1 full health block left.
Right.
And then I've got
Sure.
Yeah.
Is anyone else thinking of the scene from Airplane where a successive stream of people yell at someone to control themselves with increasingly large weapons?
Control yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tommy, I hope you realise
Only it's Tommy.
that you just were brutally animalistic, and I think worthy of the stain. That's acting like a beast.
I think
that's not appropriate. That was not appropriate.
I think that's fair. I think as soon as I realize what I've done, I freeze and I am really freaked out.
Do we act like a beast, not a human is one of our chronicle tenets. Do we think that incurs a stain?
Yeah.
I'm fine either way. It
Yeah,
depends
take
how bad
If
you
the
think
player
people
says
are.
they think they should have a stain, then who am I to argue?
Yeah.
How long does this event happen?
Very fast. Very
quickly,
fast.
Well, I'll let me know when I've arrived.
Sure, I think you're still kind of just arriving. Henry is there, however. What is Henry going to do is Tommy has just lost it on Alice. Alice is on the floor. You heard a nasty crunch as she hit the tarmac, and her head kind of rebounded off the road.
Absolutely
Valerius is just kind of, he's not making a move to escape. You think he's beyond that. He looks like almost like a charred corpse. He's still kind of recognizable as him, but he's in a real mess. But he's kind of looking at Tommy and you and Alice in confusion. And as he sees that you at least are there and are not distracted with this, he says, yes, the seal. I could give you the seal.
How?
I know where it is. I could give you the address. She keeps it. She keeps it at one of her backup havens. And he kind of glances over at where Alice is kind of maybe slowly starting to pick herself up off the road and says, I didn't kill Mithras. She sent you here doing her dirty work. She did it. She and De Word, the Nosferatu, they conspired it together between them.
And why should we believe you over her?
Why would I lie?
Why would you tell the truth?
Am I here yet?
Yeah, I think you can be there now.
What's Diane doing then?
Diane appears to be trying to negotiate the tussle of Tommy and Alice to get closer to Valerius.
That's fine. Can I turn on Awe and turn off Dawn, obviously, and kneel down with Henry Rousseau, and just join this conversation and say, "Why, darling, to save your poor burned form."
He looks back over at you and says, "Look, you believe me or you do not. I can give you the seal. I can give you information about who you are. I know you cannot remember."
I'm going to look at Henry and see what Henry thinks.
You've probably got time. I think Tommy and Alice are just Tommy's regaining control of himself. Alice is picking herself up off the ground. I think all of you have time. That's fair enough. If you think you're still sprawling, a bit broken, that's absolutely fine. Sirens are coming closer. I'd say everyone has one action, even if they choose it to be going on the ground. One action before it is very, very clear, at least to Catherine, that Diane is moving close to Valerius with a drawn gun. And if she and Jack were on the same page,
I have an action in mind, but I think I'll go last.
Sure. John looks like he's thinking. So how about Tommy?
As soon as I regain control, I will look down at my hands and I'll then sort of realize what I've done and rush over to Alice and try to. I'm so sorry. I lost it.
He killed Mithras. That's what I've got for you.
I think that takes care of Tommy and Alice. So Henry.
I'm going to I'm going to basically tell Diane to stop, but I haven't figured out how I'm going to just hold up my hand and a medicine roll. Hold up my hand and say.
So you're just trying to socially persuade her, using social skills, persuade her to stop.
Yes.
Okay.
Just like he's down.
Okay. Well, the difficulty for that will be, I'd say it would normally be 4, but there are extraneous circumstances making it harder. So that will be, I'd say, your choice of charisma or manipulation plus persuasion. Actually, I don't think you have time to manipulate the situation. Charisma plus persuasion or charisma plus leadership at a -2 dice pool.
I would only be rolling 2 dice, so
you could still succeed if you roll 2 10s.
I managed to hit Valerius with my pistol with only.
If you roll 2 10s, you'd succeed. Wouldn't you?
I managed to save your life and then was immediately destroyed by Tommy.
That's true. I don't think this will work, but I want to roll to narratively see if I end up with a bestial failure. Because that will at least be satisfying.
Yeah.
This scene is going so well.
It's going great.
One success.
Yeah. And no bestial failure, I assume.
No.
Yeah, she's still moving. Catherine.
I'm already leaning in, and I'm just going to say, just another man trying to control us. And then I'm going to start draining him.
Yes.
So someone had to do it.
Someone had to do it. But I would really like some blood right now, by the way.
Yeah, you can lean in and start to drain him. Let's I don't think there's any particular mechanics
Not even doing it gently.
needed for that. No, he's in no state to resist. How much blood will he have left is the question, I suppose.
I'm going all the way.
Oh yeah, I'm just
Obviously.
trying to see how much blood you get from it. I mean, realistically, I'm assuming when you drain a vampire, it's the amount of inverse hunger they have.
Yes, although if they're at 2 or more hunger than you, you gain 2 for every 1 you take from them.
Right, because vampiric blood is more potent.
Yeah.
I'm going to say at this point, I see no reason why he wouldn't be at hunger 5, like in this current in his current state. So whatever that means for you in terms of what you ingest.
Well, I'm intending to diablerize him.
So, yeah. I realize you're draining him dry.
I would imagine because so it depends how you interpret the fact that if when you kill a human you go down to 1 as long as you're basically close so you go down to 0. So if you interpret that includes vampires, which I think it should, then I'd go down to 0, but if you don't, then I'd just go to 1.
Because you're only on 1 now.
I want 2. So it depends.
Yeah, it depends whether you consider the drained and killed to be like because that's the amount of blood, or because it has some kind of spiritual fulfillment.
Well, I suppose what I mean is the last sip of a vampire will probably give me the hunger. Will give me 1 hunger, but it's whether killing them counts for the 0 hunger. Is more
right. And that what about the thing about what about the thing you said about like the doubling of the doubling of hunger?
Because I'm only on hunger 2, it doesn't matter because I'd go down to 1.
Okay.
Either way.
I don't think it particularly matters. And you know what? Just to make if he maybe been like a vampire near you in generation or something, I'd have said I'd have erred on the 1. But you know what? You're draining an elder dry, so take yourself to 0. I think that's absolutely fair. What are the mechanical consequences in V5 of Diablerie?
I first have to roll strength plus resolve against a difficulty of 3, a number of times equal to his blood potency.
Okay, let me just check what his blood potency is because I don't think I looked it up.
Which I probably won't succeed at. I will be honest, because that's really hard.
You don't want that traitor's blood in you.
His blood potency is 4.
Okay, so 4 times. So I'm using 3 dice with my strength plus resolve. So I'm blood surging that, which I can do because I have
got blood to spare.
Exactly. So my first one is 5 successes with a critical, and I have not gained hunger. So my second one
is great. I love this.
Is 3 successes, also with a success on the rouse check. My third one is a fail on the rouse check, so I'm back to hunger 1, and 2 successes, so I'm going to willpower that to 3 successes. So now I have to swap one of these for hunger. And
I love how matter of fact the diablerizing is.
4 successes, and
yes.
So I'm a hunger 2.
So
back to where I started.
Just to make it clear, sorry, I'm a bit lost on what those rolls represented.
So that roll represents whether I catch the soul before it leaves the body, basically.
Right.
And I have the strength to suck their soul into me. So that's the physical part of it. And then the second roll is then, because Diablerie is not simple, is then my humanity plus blood potency against their will. There's something.
I like the idea that Neill looked this up beforehand, going, "I just have these rules to
I've
hand."
had a number of debates about Diablerie before because it's fun.
It is fun. It's the funnest part of Vampire.
Diablerie. So
Be
then
quiet, Tremere.
That's right. So there, I roll my humanity plus blood potency, which is decreased by 1 now because I'm a Diablerous monster, against their resolve plus blood potency.
Okay.
So whatever that is.
Their resolve plus blood potency is 8.
So I mean that's their number of dice. So presumably it's if we're
4 then. Yeah.
4. So I'm rolling my humanity, which is 5, and my blood potency, which is 2. And I've got a mere 3 successes, which means that I gain 15 XP, and then I lose humanity equal to the difference to the target. Because I gain 5 XP for every success, even if I don't win. But then I lose humanity if I don't get as much successes as they do, and as they had assumed 4 successes, I lose 1.
Okay.
So I'm now at humanity 4 and 15 XP.
That's a lot more mechanics around it than it had in second edition.
Well, second edition, it was
things.
just like your generation goes down by 1.
And your aura goes a bit funny for a bit.
Yeah. That's a
And I
lot of
then
humanity loss.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah,
effect
it
on
can be.
your generation or blood potency.
I drop 1 generation, and then I have to spend that XP immediately on blood potency or disciplines
Okay.
that they had.
And none of it be left over?
No, it all goes.
So if you can't get round amount, then it's just gone.
Then you're screwed.
Okay. Well,
Pretty
you've got a copy of Fall of London, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you can look at what page he's on for disciplines and like if you wanted.
Cool. That was complicated.
It is
Like, I read it.
complicated, very
But it was good.
complicated, to the point where I would argue that it massively undercuts the narrative heft of the moment of Diablo.
That's what I was feeling.
Yeah.
Because it's like I'm rolling this, and then this, and then this.
It's very, very oddly power gainy feeling for V5. But
I
there we
can
go.
kind of understand where they're coming from. Should we have a conversation with it at the end?
Yes.
At the end?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so Catherine is hunched over Valerius. Henry, because Tommy and Alice are still communicating with each other. Henry is the only one who really sees this, and I can imagine might watch it with a certain amount of interest.
Yeah, pretty much.
It may not be something you've seen before.
Is Valerius dead now?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Can I regain the willpower for my desire that Valerius must die?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
I might narrate his death now, if it's okay, if everyone's finished with their mechanics.
Please.
So, Catherine, you lose yourself in a deep crimson pool of existence, memories and thoughts and schemes and plans and history unfurls before you. All of it a shocking blur that's kind of mixes with your own doubts about your sense of self, your own lack of memories, and you rise from that pool feeling refreshed and renewed and powerful. Below you, and I did check this during London Ascendant, and the book doesn't have it, but I'm going to assume the old second edition stuff still applies. Below you, the form of Valerius holds for a moment longer and then crumbles into ash that blows away down the street. What's left are burned clothes and a signet ring.
I'll snag that.
How many stains does Catherine get?
Well, I lose 2 humanity.
I
Don't
think
know
it
if
was
I need to lose stains.
Yeah,
That's
it's
fair
kind of
enough.
got it built in, I guess, with the diablerie there. I guess one could make an argument: does it contravene our chronicle tenets or not? It's certainly no worse than just fucking shooting a guy in the head. The end result is the same. He's dead. Unless you kind of go, oh, is diablerie eating someone's soul?
Again, the humanity loss already is quite...
The humanity loss is built in, right? So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was going to say, does it fall under gazing into the abyss? I can't
Arguably.
entirely justify that.
You know,
but
it's
it sort of
it's
feels...
not going to affect the rest of this session. So why don't we have that discussion at the end? Because I'm just aware of time.
No, that's
Some
fair
discussion about diablerie at the end and about possible consequences of it. That's fine. Diane is now stood in the middle of you all. As soon as she saw Catherine feeding from Valeria, she lowered her gun and holstered it. And as Catherine, you come out of your reverie, and the others kind of, Tommy and Alice are doing their thing, and Henry's to one side. Diane just mutters quietly under her breath, but loud enough that all you can hear, "For the Eternal Prince."
Oh.
Glad somebody's on side.
I
Diane
reach out
kind
my
of
hand.
blinks a little bit looks around, looks at all of you, listens to the rapidly approaching sirens, takes out the gun again, drops it, and bolts.
Okay. I reach my hand down and say, try and help up Alice. Get up, soldier.
I'm not taking your hand, you. I'm gonna, get out of here, Tone. You can't just flipping crush someone's body against the pavement and then act like everything's fine.
We both did something wrong here.
I'm going to examine Jack. Is he fully dead?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Then
Thankfully, yes.
yeah.
Is
How close to the sirens sound?
There'll be. I mean, give me a resolve plus awareness roll.
Mate,
Difficulty.
other people need blood too.
Difficulty 2.
I think, darling,
fail.
we should get out of here.
If anyone needs to feed now.
The
Just
least you
towards
could
Jack.
do is the least you could do, Tommy, is hand me the body.
Quickly.
okay. I rush over and get the
You
body.
can get up, Justin.
Yeah, but I'm in a mood. But yeah, no, I'm
Okay.
gonna go. I'm not seriously in a mood. I'm gonna go.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go feed. I need to feed.
Okay. Oh God, how
fetch
long's he
Alice.
been dead at this point? A couple of minutes. We
Not
also hit this in
if
London
that.
Ascendant, didn't we? Did we?
He's been dead 1 or 2 turns.
I think he's
as long as
freshly
it's in
dead.
this scene, he's
We've
fresh.
had a whole scene since then. And yeah. What did we fall on in London Ascendant?
I think it was basically as long as it was in the scene, it was fine. It was when
Yeah,
it was
Sure.
like, historically dead.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. Yeah, you can. I mean, you can't drain and kill him because he's already dead.
Anything would help.
So, I mean, how long are you taking?
Like not long. I probably would take one point of blood. Like I need something.
Sure. Yeah, you can quickly drain a point, and then yeah.
I'll make sure that there aren't any marks of vampirism on him, and then throw the corpse into the
Nope.
burning car.
I say no.
Okay.
I
Hold.
There are now lights at the end of this road.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
You really
I'm
don't have to,
yeah, close
to
got
have
wheels,
an
but
elaborate interaction with each other.
I'm going to bite my thumb and use my blood and use ashes to ashes, which means over 3 turns he will basically decay into nothing.
But does that take you 3 turns to do?
No, I apply it and then it
Apply
takes
it
3
and then
turns to
3
rot.
turns. Okay.
I believe. Yes.
Cool. Let's
Okay.
And then we go.
Okay. Is
He
there any
starts
roll or
crumbling to
rouse
ash.
check you have to make for that?
Not for I need to do a rouse check, but for a non-moving corpse.
I'm glad that you specified.
And the rouse check, I fail, but I don't gain a stain from oblivion.
That's good. So yeah.
So put him into the car.
Tommy, you kind of Alice feeds briefly from the body of Jack. Tommy, you go to pick him up. Henry, describe what you do. Describe how you stop. Tell me. Describe this because it seems like a fun thing to describe your discipline.
As Tommy goes for the body, put a hand on his shoulder and say, "No, go for the car." And I bite my thumb with one fang, and I feel like I apply it to his head or something, just long enough to see that it takes. And then as I see like the putrefaction basically start to spread outwards from the center of the forehead across the skull, I turn and return to the car.
Okay.
was
When we say
creepy.
return to the car, where are we
Let's
going?
go to the ghoul's car.
The ghoul's
don't
car,
have
the
the
one
keys.
you do not have the keys to start that car.
Yep.
Diane has it.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
she
follow the
bolted.
group wherever they're going.
Okay.
Yeah, away.
Catherine will nobly, as the only one amongst you with any style, will pick a direction that seems sensible based on her intricate knowledge of police tactics
Mhm.
and head in that direction.
directly away seems a good
Yes.
pick. So why don't we? Who has? I'm assuming that people will just be willing to follow whoever seems the most confident in this. So let's see who has the highest pool for wits plus streetwise, shall we?
I have a pool of 2.
5.
3.
How about Alice?
3.
Henry's making that roll then.
Henry.
So Henry, you can roll 5 dice. And who else has streetwise? Does anyone else actually have the stat?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Then you're getting no help from anyone else, basically. But give me a roll of 5 and we'll see. Let's just see how you do.
I get 2 successes.
I think that's enough. Like they were approaching the scene, but they didn't have anyone, a helicopter tracking you or anything like that. So you dash away down the street, down back alleys for a good half hour or so until you reach kind of an area a bit closer to closer back towards the center of London, although still quite away from it. You have ended up just on the street corner. It's a very average street.
Okay. I will say, what do we think of what he said?
He was lying, I'm sure.
He was lying. There was. I looked into Queen Anne's eyes. She did not lie.
And he definitely would have said anything to save his own skin.
What if?
So would Anne.
What if she didn't lie?
She did not lie.
But she didn't say. She only said that he was involved.
She believed truly that he was responsible for Mithras's death.
She
didn't
believed
say he was solely responsible.
That's
Exactly.
true, but he was a conspirator, and if she was a conspirator too, that doesn't absolve him. As you see,
That is true.
see some of the bones in my body start to click back into place as I start to immediately. Yeah,
spending blood to heal. Yeah.
I did a rouse check which I failed, so I'm back onto 3 hunger.
Mm-hmm. And how much does that heals? 2?
2 because your blood potency 2.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose either way we should return.
It's a pity about Diane. Did anyone hear what he said at the end?
What
Who, Diane?
What Dan said.
I heard.
Maybe we aren't the only ones in this position.
Mithras had a wide network of friends. And
Of course he did, dear. Of course.
yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I love how Matt's like just rinsing Alice's firmly held commitments. But we won't be surprised if we can find friends in many places too. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm happy to defer to your judgment.
Well, let's get back to the Queen in any case. And into better clothes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, actually, while we talk about this, how visibly damaged or is anyone? I think Alice
I've been burnt.
Yeah, you've been burnt visibly. Probably the damage. You probably got a bit of blood on you from Tommy throwing you down, but nothing like really of wounds or anything. Henry, Catherine, Tommy, you were battered a bit, weren't you?
Yeah, I was punched in the solar plexus.
But I don't think that shows, right? So
yeah, depends if his hands were covered in blood.
Didn't punch through you is one superficial damage, wasn't it?
No, I think maybe your shirt might be a bit charred because he was on fire when he hit you. But no, I think that's fine. Do you want to heal, Tommy? Or
yes, I will. Oh, actually, no. I'm on hunger 3, so maybe not.
Okay, leave it for now. Sure. You negotiate your way through the streets of London. Are you going to try and walk back to the Shard? Because that will take a number of hours. Or are you trying to get a taxi or something?
You look quite conspicuous.
Do we
think
have an ability to contact the Queen? Or
We call up
Yeah, we
Shirazi.
didn't get our phones back.
No, you don't have your phones.
yeah, that is true.
And so we can't even call a taxi. I mean,
We could call
Yeah, but
Shirazi.
you can find a taxi
Yeah.
rank or whatever.
yeah.
Didn't we have a number to call when we were
We do know
done?
the number of. We do know the number of Churchill.
You have Churchill's public number, but she just said to come back via the elevator and gave you a key card for it.
I'm sure she would appreciate a call.
Asking for extraction. But okay,
You could just get a taxi.
Let's get it.
It's entirely up to you guys.
We're just walking away. We're just walking away from a fire with bad burns, and it's the kind of thing
We're
attracts attention.
far
Yeah,
enough
that's-
away from the fire, I think.
yeah,
I
okay.
think you may be
They don't.
sure
ask
that
questions.
could be potentially pieced together. You are right. You are right.
Sure. Okay,
But let's do
go
it
for
anyway.
Fair enough. So you're just going to find a taxi rank, get in a taxi, and get a taxi to the Shard. I think that's absolutely fine. I believe we all had already done Blush of Life this evening, so
I was going to
have-
say that we'd used
all
it
fine.
the previous session.
we're all fine. You get a taxi. I mean, I'll be honest. This guy's a London cabbie. You're not the weirdest thing he's taken through the streets of London tonight. You pile in. He makes a minimum of small talk other than winding the window down slightly to let out the kind of slightly smoky smell around some of you more than others. And he drives you to the Shard, lets him out. You've got enough cash. I'm not going to calculate the cash that takes. Yeah, I take it you're entering that sort of secluded garage.
Yep.
The key card lets you into the garage. It's as it was when you left it. You go up to the elevator. It lets you in the elevator, and you start the long ascent up to floor 66. After a couple of minutes, the doors ding open, and it is essentially exactly the room as you saw before. It is Queen Anne sat at a desk. Lady Churchill stood over to one side. The elders are still not there. They have been clearly kept out of the room until your arrival back. And Queen Anne looks up and says, "My, you do look like you're a little bit the worse for wear."
Yes, my queen. It was ever so dreadful. Ever so dreadful. And I'll remove a signet ring from a little bag pocket I'm sure I had in it and said, "But we were successful for you."
Ah, wonderful. I hope it wasn't too traumatic at a time. Valerius was very much an ally. Well, I think I can safely say that the deal has been carried out to the satisfaction of all. She starts with her dipping pen, writes in exquisite handwriting what appears to be an address and a number on a piece of paper, and slides it across the desk towards Catherine and says, "Your seal can be found there, within a vault, for which that is the code."
Thank you, my queen.
And if you wouldn't mind, the key card and any other items to Lady Churchill.
I will make a big show of presenting any items that I have to Lady Churchill.
Does she want the knife back?
She said,
Yeah.
Was
That's
what she
fair
said.
enough.
And I'll in fact, that's a very good point. If I see you getting the knife out, I will laden Churchill with things as if she is just a mere lackey, someone who has to carry these tools
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah,
That's
please,
a waiter.
please do that.
Servant.
I have already wiped off my blood from this knife
Mm-hmm.
somewhere in time of running away from the fight. But yeah, unfortunately, I can't present you with this bloodied knife for her to peruse over.
As Catherine, as you're immediately piling stuff on Churchill, she kind of takes a step backwards once she has an arm. dumps them off to one side, shoots you a venomous glance, and then kind of looks away from you, seemingly distracted by something, reaches up to her ear where you see for the first time like a small metallic object just pinned onto her ear, and she shoots a glance at Queen Anne. And why don't we give a wits plus insight roll from everyone, please? And let's make that a difficulty of, I think, good Lord, there are so many pages in Fall of London.
Difficulty 5.
That's going to be a difficulty. It probably will be a difficulty 5. It's a difficulty 4.
I'm rolling 3 dice.
I rolled 5 dice and got, not that it matters, but I got 2 bestial failures. Not that it, as again, 1 is enough, but
1 is enough.
I rolled 3 dice.
Sorry, you go. Yeah.
3 dice, 3 successes.
Ooh.
But it's a failure.
Yeah.
I rolled 6 dice and willpower re-rolled to get 4 successes.
Okay.
4 dice and 1 success.
Okay. Let's deal with that bestial failure first.
She glanced away
so
from you.
Many of these.
After my previous session's great successes, this time it's just lose humanity. Bestial failures.
See,
You
it's
chose
not-
to lose humanity.
It's
Okay.
not particularly listed as a thing, but I think what we'll actually do, because I want to move forward and I don't want to get bogged down in stuff. I think Catherine was feeling quite victorious over Churchill in making her look like a fool here, and then clearly, whatever it was, distracted Churchill to the point where she doesn't care about you anymore. Superficial willpower damage,
Sure.
just from being a bit disheartened by that. That'll do. That's fine. So Alice was the only one who saw, I believe. Churchill and Queen Anne shared some kind of quite complex hand gesture.
Okay. Could I recreate this hand gesture if I was pushed?
Yes.
Or was it very complex? Okay.
Yeah, no, it's just, it's just like a small gesture with fingers. Queen Anne stands and says, well, I believe there is a party outside waiting for you, if you wouldn't mind.
Thank you.
She's kind of packing up the things on her desk and placing them inside a briefcase.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I kind of start making my way to the door.
I don't think I've actually given my weapons, and I don't think I will.
Churchill is not going to insist.
Cool.
Soldier doesn't obey orders.
A pleasure, my queen. I hope we see each other at another lovely party.
Oh, I'm sure we will, dear. I'm sure we will.
And thank you for allowing me to see you, circumstances aside.
Oh, of course, Dr. Banerjee. Always a pleasure.
Okay.
Are you all leaving? She seems to want you to
Yes.
leave very quickly.
Then I will leave quickly.
Okay. You walk out onto kind of the glass, sort of not a balcony, but like a landing, looking out over the party. There's definitely less people here than there was earlier. You're about maybe an hour and a half before dawn now, but there's still a surprising number of people still here. And you see kind of sat kind of quite gingerly on a couch on his own with a small flute of blood is Darius Shirazi, who's kind of looking up, and as he sees you come out, he kind of jumps to his feet, walks up and says, "Oh, I was worried something had happened to you. Quite a long audience." He kind of peers up to try and get a look in the room, which you can't because there's no windows.
Is there an opportunity to drink again through?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Then
yes.
I'm going to be waving people away, and I'm going to make my way immediately towards that.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing what Alice is, and Tommy are doing, I'll say, yes, it was very, very long, but the Queen's such a dear. Would you mind accompanying us to the blood. It has been a very thirsty work.
Shirazi says, "Oh, of course.
But Alice is visibly
What?
burned.
It smells like burning."
Yes, very difficult, dear. Very difficult. Let's talk later. Soon, very soon.
He nods.
Later.
He does kind of walk along behind you, kind of idly talking. Henry, are you going with the others over to
Yes, I
the
also want some
refreshments? Okay, yeah, you all kind of are seen by the ghouls there, and all have time to take one off each of your hunger when the party is somewhat interrupted, and it's interrupted by an announcement over a loudspeaker system. It is very recognisably the voice of Lady Churchill, and she says, "Ladies and gentlemen, loyal kindred of London, the estate of Queen Anne regrets to inform you that the rumours of mortals hunting our kind throughout London are true. But there is truly no need to be concerned. If you look out of the windows towards the east, you will see 3 helicopters approaching us. They are provided by your generous queen to take her loyal subjects to the safety of Birmingham. Please wait patiently while we arrange landing and embarkation." Kind of a group, most of the people at the party kind of look over and look out. And indeed, coming from the south, there are 3 helicopters visible in the night sky, kind of, the lights on them, approaching the windows of the Shard. Or approaching the Shard. The windows of the Shard is a weird thing to say. There's a general hubbub about this. You can hear people kind of saying, "Oh, that's wonderful," and other people saying, "I don't have any of my," and others saying that mortals are really hunting us. There's a general outcry of just confusion.
I walk over to one of the windows and I see if I can see anything
try and get a
on
closer look.
on ground level or not on
Try
ground
and get
level.
a closer look. Yeah, sure. Why don't you give me a either wits or resolve, because you can take a moment with this for sure, but I don't want to take a stat away from you. Wits or resolve plus awareness roll, please.
Okay, that is 6 dice at hunger 2 with any difficulty, or I'll just roll it.
Just roll.
I'm going to willpower reroll, and so I get 3 successes.
Okay. Down on the streets far below the Shard, you can see a lot of vehicles pulling up. Most of them have red and blue lights flashing on the top of them.
I rush over back to my friends.
Coterie.
Yeah, we need to get out of here. This
Why?
is there are police.
We own the police.
Doesn't look like it.
There, you hear a cry from across the room. You don't know who says it. You don't know which kindred says it. But whoever they are, they're near the windows, and they just cry out, "Those helicopters have got fucking snipers in them!" Gunfire erupts somewhere on a lower floor. I think that's a nice point at which to leave it, which is way more of a cliffhanger than I thought. I thought we'd actually resolve this scene tonight, but that's fine. That's
It's a good
fine.
place to leave it.
I'll have a thought over whether we'll do another episode of Fall of London now or pick up this massive cliffhanger in our next arc of it later. I'll have a discussion with the players and talk about that. Yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. As usual, if you've got comments or questions, pop them into the chat, and Steve, our stream manager, will pop them up for us to talk about. We're also going to have a little brief discussion of Diablerie and stains and things like that as well, like we said we would. But in the meantime, let's do promo. There's a bunch of links down below. There's links to our YouTube and our Twitch. You're watching on one, why not check out the other? Links to our social media, to our Discord, where you can talk to us about all things role-playing, to our Patreon, where you can go and subscribe and get rewards in exchange for cold, hard cash. We run 3 weekly series at the moment, Monday through to Wednesday, each at 8 o'clock BST. Mondays is Call of Cthulhu, Tuesdays is Vampire the Masquerade, and Wednesdays is Symbaroum. We also run monthly one-shots on the first Saturday of every month. We've done Alien and Troika, and most recently, this last Saturday, we played Mert Borg, and it was really good. The VODs for all those are available over on our YouTube. And rest. So, first things first, are there any questions or comments for us, Steve? Henry's never going to pot on a seatbelt again.
I mean, I think the thing I found most surprising about that was the fact that he put on a seatbelt in the first place.
Yeah,
Sure.
saw that.
Well, he saw Jack doing it,
Yeah.
Thought,
Yeah,
that's
sure.
what you do. So
Yeah,
and
this
Valerius
is how
probably
you
put one
drive a
on.
car.
It's at times like these you need a good flailer in the party. Yeah, well, this is a rare Telling Tales series without a designated flailer. So,
Yeah, all of our flails hit, but they just hit the wrong person.
yeah. You have some ranged flails with your guns. So
I am quite impressed though that because obviously this is a pre-written chronicle, we're using pre-decided characters. There's actually quite a lot of possible combat we could have for our doctor and our occultist and our socialite.
yeah. Well,
And then
there's
obviously one soldier.
there's 5 pre-gen characters. 2 of them are quite combat capable, one of which you didn't take. And a third is kind of occultly combat capable, if you get what I mean with Alice. And then Catherine and Henry are borderline useless.
Yep.
In combat,
Yeah.
obviously, very good in other areas. Catherine's social roles continually.
Oh yeah, she's even better than Alex.
So there's no other.
How many heavy plots are there? Science, medicine, heavy plots.
There's loads of science in Fall of London. Just all of it.
How many
investigations.
medicine bodies
there's
do I get to investigate?
There's that whole chapter where you go to get Mithras's Phrygian cap, and the Elder won't give it up unless you get a paper published.
Right.
But you
decided to cut that one because you know time constraints.
I could actually believe that though. It sounds like the kind of, especially if it was Malkavian.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is important.
My findings must be known to the world.
So, as we said, I think we said we'd have a little bit of a discussion of Diablerie. It's a massive narrative moment, and I feel it's really undercut by having to make about 6 rolls.
I don't mind it so much, but
like maybe. Obviously, it depends at what point in the session you do it, but I feel like those rolls would be best done after the session. You diablerize and then hand wave, you feel more powerful, and then you go to sleep, and then you leveled up.
Especially because that whole process of binding, the binding of a soul bit and capturing the soul bit, doesn't need to be quick. It could happen over days or weeks. You know.
I think I agree. It's just narratively you make it happen at the end of the scene. Yeah. But I also think that it would be a lot more dramatic in person, huddled around this table as you frantically roll. Whereas,
on a stream,
that's true.
I think there's a way of doing it because, like, I mean, obviously, I don't really know very much about Diablerie because I'm new to Vampire, but like, I think that you probably shouldn't make all of the rolls at once because it feels like it's like a sequence of challenges.
So and it should have like narrative framing around.
I doubt it frames it that way, but that would make sense to me.
And be like, I roll my first set, and then you have some weird narration of blood pouring from the eyes of the person, and then you're like, and then the second roll.
I agree. It's just then it becomes really long about one person. But I was already like, part of the reason I didn't explain it as well as I probably should have done for the stream is because I was getting nervous. Like, it's just me, and I'm just rolling and saying, I rolled this. And I'm doing this.
Sure,
It's a tricky one, and like for some reason I hadn't anticipated anyone diablerizing him. I honestly don't know why.
I was expecting Justin to beat me to it, but then Justin got in a.
I think before, but to be honest, when I was making the decision to kill him or not, I kind of thought Alice would think that because I had Diablerie, there are so many the rumors around it, and Alice has a lot of occult knowledge, so would know rumors about Diablerie. The rumors are about it, like sometimes it's talked about as if almost like you can lose yourself to the person you're diablerizing.
Oh, you absolutely can.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so Alice probably would think that this is not the best person.
Yeah, like Alice has enough occult knowledge
to know it's about
to be wary of it in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
She practices safe Diablerie.
Exactly. Well, not just a safe Diablerie. Like I don't this person is revolting to me, and the idea of like them.
You don't want to consume them.
Exactly. Yeah. So I decided that before I decided to run up with him with a knife. And also, I want to use my ability. Hello. So at that point, I wanted to just kill him, and I was, and then this scene played out as it did.
I think I think as a whole, the actual narrative of the scene played out really well and really
great.
characterfully for everyone. So
I only decided that I was going to do it when he started trying to justify himself, because then
Sure.
it just played beautifully into Catherine's personality of
yeah, and I
do
liked the kind of almost the callback to like the memoriam of like men have always told you what to do and stuff. No, that's great. So that's
cool.
that's what we think about Diablerie. So the stains, yeah, it's a tricksy one because it's like, to me, I suppose from my perspective, like the humanity loss is built in, but also that's like
standard.
That's because of the process of Diablerie, not because of the potential impact on someone's conscious and someone's humanity and some humanity in the non-mechanical sense. So I would be tempted to do that, but I think the question for me is I'm not sure. The closest argument I heard to it was from John, which was "Do not stare into the abyss." Does Diablerie involve that? I don't know.
It does.
I wonder.
I think it probably does, but
if it might depend on what your intention with the Diablerie is, because if it's just like a "fuck you, I'm going to make you very, very dead," which is kind of what I got from Catherine, maybe not. But if it's like I want to purposefully lower my generation and become more powerful and punch Kane in the face or whatever, that's definitely.
I agree. But I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Neill, that Catherine is more the former in that she just wanted to kill him. And that was, in the moment, a way to achieve that. Or
partly, but it's also a way to establish dominance in a very eventually socialite way, which isn't about abyss.
No, I'd agree.
It's almost bestial, but it's not quite. But I think
know what? You know what I'd argue? In this case, because that was your motivation, I would say you don't get a stain. But I would say that you'd maybe get a stain if you do it again, knowing what it actually means now.
So, in some ways, my argument is more a meta argument than a thematic argument. That humanity is already so punishing. Like I've taken 2 humanity. That's worse than any number of stains you could possibly give me.
Yeah, I agree.
And I kind of feel that's just, and on top of that, Diablerie is so evil. Like, ignoring the fact that it's getting close to the beast and it's a challenge and so on. Like, it's one of the most unequivocally evil acts you can do in World of Darkness, because it's consuming someone else's soul, which is true damnation. And it's not listed under the generic examples of bad things like killing a friend and so on. So I just feel like the humanity.
I guess my only thought is that in a coterie that had different chronicle tenants, you'd still lose the humanity. But our ones do have these chronicle tenants, so I think your explanation of your justifications makes sense. But I think that had they been different, there could be an argument. But I do also agree. Ultimately, the humanity class is so punishing that it seems like enough.
And also, there's enough roles. Like I've done 5 roles. Why would I need to do anything?
Could you have? I didn't follow that process terribly well, but that was fine because you knew it, so I was happy to go there. Could you have committed that Diablerie and not lost humanity?
Yes. There are several complicated ways of doing it. The simplest way is I could have failed my initial rolls. If I'd have made my strength plus resolve rolls to consume the soul, if I'd failed those, I wouldn't have actually Diablerized.
You just have drained him and killed him.
Yeah, and I'd failed to go to soul, and I'd totally be fine with someone gaining stains for that, because there's no because mechanically there's no humanity loss. That's just bestial. The only other ways of doing it, there's a law sheet, for instance, which means that if you Diablerize someone of higher status than you, you don't automatically lose humanity.
Right.
But you still have a chance. But you can still have a chance to lose humanity if you, as I said, do the roll, which is also. I love the role in some respects, but it's quite imaginative. But it's also it's a unique role because you gain effects whether you win or fail, because I gain XP based on my successes, and then lose humanity based on my win.
Yeah.
So it's not just 5, not only do I have 5 roles, but one of those roles was double duty. So it's
it's an odd one.
I suppose as well, like if you had, your subsequent stain rolls are going to be much easier because of your low humanity. But it doesn't it sounds like if you have already very low humanity, is there some mechanic to make it that you lose less humanity from Diablerizing?
No,
So-
which means you can end up losing your character entirely. Like if I Diabolise now, I could, with only 3 failure, with only like 3 margin, lose the character, and they become
So
possessed.
that kind
Sounds
of makes
great.
it sound that like there's not a hard cap, but a pretty firm cap on the number of
How
times
much
you
you
can
can do.
Diabolise.
Yeah, 2 or 3 if you're really lucky, and then
Yeah.
yeah. But sorry.
I mean, I'm happy in this case. Like, I think if I was being like as anal as I could be about it, and like whether or not we like according to the spirit of the game, whether I should be giving you a stain, I think I would give you a stain, but I don't want to be that anal, and I think that the humanity loss you've already suffered is a massive impact, and I think that already pretty much represents what we've like what you've done here. So yeah. Yeah, I was going to say something else and now it's completely gone. But yeah.
To go a bit back to the last topic, what I'd be tempted to do is the strength, as I think the thing that really slows it down is the number of strength plus resolve rolls. And part of me is tempted to just do 1. And yeah, it makes it harder to Diabolise someone of higher blood potency, but they already gain a benefit on the second roll because they have more opposing dice.
Yeah.
And just making someone like, let's say for sake of argument, I try to Diabolise someone really ancient. Let's say Mithras comes back in his glory, and I'm playing the filthy Catherine who doesn't care. Like I might have to roll 8 times. That's just so boring.
It is, but I get, and it's like it's one of those impactful things where, like, on one hand, you could say, "Oh well, yeah, well, there should be big mechanics around that because Diabolizing Mithras should be like a ridiculously big thing." But on the other hand, I'd also want to go, well, that should mean there are no mechanics. Because it shouldn't be mechanical. It should be purely like, essentially storyteller fiat with, or maybe player fiat as well, like saying what happens when you drain a Methuselah.
And it doesn't fit with the V5 winner takes all opposing. Like, which is why I really like the humanity plus blood potency versus resolve plus blood potency roll. It's just all the previous rolls. Mechanically, they make sense. They make sense to drain your willpower, to drain your hunger, and so on. They're just clunky.
Yeah.
I think Pierre's suggestion was probably the best if we were doing it at the end of a scene in particular of describing what happens.
Like moving through it with that. Yeah, I think that's fine. Either way, there we go, folks. Big mechanical discussion at the end of our sessions, like there always is, right? Yeah. That's the kind of group we are. So thank you for watching. Next week, we are off. I'm taking a week off, and therefore these people have to as well. So yeah, we won't be doing that. But the week after, we will be returning with either Fall of London or London Ascendant. We'll see what happens. I'll have a discussion with these guys offline and see which one we want to pick up. Yeah, but until then, stay safe, take care, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.